All right, Hillary Clinton was at some event the other day, in some panel at a conference, and she got interrupted by a heckler slash protester, and this went on for a while. Apparently, there was like little to no security at this event. Because watch what unfolds here.
By the hypocrisy
of
this.
Two more people to hear from.
I'm sorry.
You have a chance. Well, I'm not sorry. You sit down.
I know you're not sorry.
People,
That's the point. The hypocrisy of this speech. The hypocrisy of the fact that what do you have? Can you please?
Is a leading
statement about President Joe Biden's speech. This is a clearly warmongering speech. President Joe Biden is calling for $100 billion of funding for Israel, Taiwan, and Ukraine, and we're supposed to just bundle these together and pretend like we're going to rush to World War III, and we're all just going to let Hillary Rodham Clinton sit here. Okay.
I'm sorry. You know, this is not the way to have a conversation. If you want to have a conversation, you're welcome to come talk to me afterwards.
You can sit here. Okay, right. You're gonna wait for me, right? Please, I do not believe you.
I will listen to you, and I will respond to you.
I do not believe you. Respectfully, I do not believe you. And the fact of the matter is that the American people's voice are what need to be heard.
Yeah, they are being heard.
Because our president is not speaking for the American people, and neither are you.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion.
Yes, that's my opinion.
Well, then sit down. We've heard your opinion. Thank you very much.
Now
we're going to
I'm not
going to
sit down. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop
working on behalf of human rights.
I'm going to exercise my free speech.
But it's not free speech when you are disrupting everybody else's opportunity to speak.
This is free speech, everyone. This is free speech. That is not free speech. This is people constructing narratives that are openly hypocritical. I'm sorry. The incredible hypocrisy.
So this is, if you, everybody who's just listening to this in podcast format, it says Institute for Global Politics is this thing that she's at. By the way, the camera is like 360 for the definition. It is not. It looks like it was recorded in 2007, but no, this is recent. And this goes on, man. 3-minute, 39-second video. Here, we'll watch the rest of it.
Went with Eleanor Roosevelt to bring this Declaration of the Rights of Man. John Foster Dulles was involved with the CIA.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're brilliant in your historical cherry picking.
The Pinochet regime. Please, could you please inform me about...
So we got John Dulles, the CIA, Pinochet, and the original thing was about Biden's, I think it was $105 billion aid package that is supposed to go to Ukraine and Israel. He said Taiwan also. I didn't see that. Although, I don't know, that could be part of the package also. I haven't read any articles on it yet. I just saw a couple headlines. But we started with that, the aid package. Then we get this John Dulles, the CIA, and now he brought up Pinochet. Let's keep listening.
The United States
we're going to move on
to will you denounce Joe Biden? Will you denounce Joe Biden's
human rights, not just yelling about it. So, Frank, I want to turn to you.
What is he? He asked her to denounce Joe Biden's speech. Is that what I think that's what he's doing. And he's saying denounce it because it's a warmongering speech. Buddy, I don't know how familiar you are with one Hillary Rodham Clinton, but I think not only would she have given the same speech, she would have made it more money and it would have been more warmongery. That's my guess. Look at her record. For the Iraq War, orchestrated the overthrowing of Gaddafi in Libya, which then led to, not that Gaddafi was good, but it then led to, like, slave markets in Libya and a complete failed state. And so she is the war queen. Okay, so asking for her to denounce that is very unlikely.
You are from Uganda, and Uganda's 2023 anti-homosexual.
I love how this guy somehow still has a microphone and he's still able to interject after going for 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Now, I don't know if this guy is security, the one who's talking to him. I don't know if he's security or if he's just another person in the audience, because he doesn't really act like security. He doesn't really take him out at any point. He just sort of stands there and says, like, please stop talking or whatever. Anyway, keep going.
Criminalizes LGBTI conduct in Uganda.
To push us to World War III. Do you understand? It's not about Israel and Palestine. It's not football. This isn't football. It's not Team America.
Well, I'm sorry, but some of us are on Team America despite our flaws and our problems.
Yes, that's me.
Oh. That was actually one of his better points, is like, look, we're talking about these things in the context of like teams, but that's really not helpful, and this can spiral out of control into World War III. And she's like, actually, I am on Team America. We brought this up in the context of what just happened in Israel, right? Like, Hamas did a brutal terror attack and it killed 1,400 innocent Israeli civilians. That's a war crime. I'm against that. right? But now, does that mean Kyle is just flat out Team Israel, end of discussion? No, because then Israel responded to that by doing collective punishment and doing war crimes on the other side, where now they've killed 4 times as many innocent civilians as Hamas did. I'm against that too. You have to not look at it as a team thing. You have to look at it through the lens of moral and ethical principles. War crimes are bad. Violating international law is bad. I'm going to be against whoever does that, especially if they're doing it on purpose. And in both instances, Hamas and the IDF are doing it on purpose. I know the IDF is doing it on purpose because it's over 90% civilian death rate. And they said, we don't think there's any civilians in Gaza. We don't count any of them as civilians. We're doing a medieval siege to 2.3 million people, cutting off their food, their fuel, their water. That's on purpose. So I'm not going to pick a team. It's not like you're team IDF or team Hamas. I'm team innocent Palestinians and innocent Israelis. That's what I'm on. And that was one of his better points. And Hillary was just like, no, I'm Team America. Jesus Christ.
And some of us, every person on this stage. You have to stop right now. You have to stop. Wait, every person on this stage has risked their life, their income, their reputation, their careers, and what have you done other than stand up and disrupt?
Come on, don't make it personal. Everybody up here has risked their lives, their income. I don't think Hillary's risked any income. Hillary, I mean, look at the Clinton Foundation and how much money they raised through that. That was very sketchy. Pay-to-play corruption, if you ask me. The Clintons have raised over $1 billion from donors in their political career. Please, don't act, oh, she's just a public civil servant. Stop.
And these women's records and Frank's records against you any day of the year.
I'll respond.
I think it's any day of the week, I think is the saying, but anyway.
Is I have asked Hillary Rodham Clinton to denounce the president's openly warmongering, suicidal, idiotic speech.
And I've given my answer. I will not do that. So that's the end of our conversation, but I'll still meet you outside. But you're done.
Right now. Okay, Frank? Okay.
I'm surprised that she's like, I'll meet you outside. Now, by the way, will she actually do it? Doubt it. But she said multiple times now, look, you want to talk about this? I'll meet you afterwards. Again, I don't think she'll do it, but that was a good way to attempt to diffuse the situation. But look, the overall concern, being scared of World War III, I think that's fair. I mean, some people will say it sounds hyperbolic, but when you look at what's going on right now, Hamas did a terror attack in Israel. Israel's responding by doing collective punishment against all Palestinians in Gaza, massacring civilians. Now Israel and Hezbollah are fighting in the West Bank. That, drags in Lebanon through Hezbollah, drags in Iran. U.S. bases are now being attacked in Syria and Iraq by drones. Not only is it spiraling out of control, it's not a spiral when every move that's taken is purposeful. And Israel's purposefully escalating and the U.S. is purposefully escalating. And I think the same is true on the other side. If Hezbollah gets in to try to stop the massacre of Palestinians, they're doing that purposely. It's not really spiraling out of control. This is a tit-for-tat escalation. It's a logical step every step of the way here. And yeah, I think that's very concerning. I think that's really concerning. I think it's a little bit sloppy to think about the conflict in the way he's doing, where it's like, whatever it is, $105 billion aid package, where some goes to Ukraine and some goes to Israel. And he said Taiwan too. Again, I'm unfamiliar if that's actually in the bill or not, but I do think each one of those conflicts, you need to do an analysis separately because they're not all the same, right? They're all very different in how they function and in terms of who's the aggressor and who's not. But I think being concerned about World War III is legitimate. So in that sense, I sympathize with him. But I also do think it's fair to say that most people watching this are just going to be like, all right, homie, you got your point across. Shut the fuck up. Like, we got you. Especially anybody who's at an event where Hillary Clinton is one of the main speakers. They don't want to hear some anti-war protester screaming at her. And by the way, again, I don't know if he brought this up knowing that she, of course, would not agree, or if he actually was trying to get her to denounce Joe Biden's speech. But like I said, if she was president, she wouldn't have just done the same speech. I think she would have been even more hawkish and even more aggressive and wanted to give even more money to Israel. So anyway, there you have it. By the way, just for the record here, I have no idea who this guy is. I have no idea what kind of group he's affiliated with or associated with. I don't know if he's part of like the anti-war right or part of the left. I really don't know, but he tried to interrupt this speech and bring up this issue. And I don't know, curious what all you guys think. I'm always torn in situations like this because on the one hand, if the concern that they're expressing is legitimate, I sympathize on those grounds. But on the other hand, I also don't know what's gained by doing this. other than making people who are afraid of World War III look totally unhinged, even though it's a perfectly grounded and reasonable position at the moment. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, my initial reaction to this was like, yeah, it's legit concern, World War III. But then also, after like a minute and 12 seconds, I was like, all right, we got it. You got your point across. Like www.wrapitup.com. Because the way to stop World War III and the way to stop the escalation is really not by this, right? I think the best thing that you could do at this point in time is just relentlessly scream from the top of your lungs for a ceasefire. And right now there's only 20 Democrats in the House who are calling for a ceasefire. Last I checked, nobody in the Senate. There's like 300 of Bernie Sanders' former staffers who are screaming at him to hop onto the call for a ceasefire. But the best thing you could do, relentlessly call your congresspeople, your senators, the White House, go to positions of power, protest, and say, ceasefire now, because right now there's a genocide going on of Palestinians, and we're all just kind of casually sitting back and watching it happen. And that's unacceptable. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.